Now is the time. A time you'll look back on. A time you adopt as inspiration. You will recollect this time. This moment, right now. Motivate yourself towards success. Overcome. Take over. The time is now.
Hello. Season over, lads. Season over. Safe. As we knew many weeks ago. But that just doesn't matter. We're safe. This is nice to be involved or not involved in the action so much on the last day. But
involved in the back end of it, really.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, we're picked for Sky though.
Sorry, Burnley.
We affected placings and significant results for the season, though. So that's always good.
Exactly.
Yeah. How are you all? First of all.
All right.
Yeah, good.
Good.
No bother.
Good. Okay, first I'm going to just mention to everyone that people may have noticed, because we said we were going to break the news tonight, that we've changed our name. We're now called Loaded Mag NUFC. So, and then I should have put up it's the same name across now on Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. So Loaded HQ is no more. We're under the one banner now, Loaded Mag NUFC. So just to note that. No Chris tonight. Not sure where Chris is. Chris could be in the pub. I know Pete was at the game. So Pete was at the game tonight, today actually. And here we have a little clip from Pete as well of just a bit the pre-game atmosphere. So here's.
Turn around. That's what it's all about.
Pete leading them off there in the tune. Well done, Pete. Nice one. I'd say it was a good atmosphere as well, knowing that we're safe and everything like that. So, but let's get into it. And I'll give you a bit of a rundown of the game, just in case anyone didn't see it. Richie.
Yeah. Shut up.
Dodgy stream.
No, the dodgy provider.
Yeah, exactly. Well done, Premier Sports over here in Ireland, who played the entire game. So I just sat in the bar and watched it, which was great.
They did, and I got rid of my BT and about 3 months ago because I have other means of getting it. So I'll be back to them again probably in the start of the season.
I'll be back on for next season, depending on who we sign.
Yeah, no, I think we'll be back on anyway. But so this was our team. So Shar out, probably still the concussion injury keeping him out. Lascelles in. Martin, you were glad of that. Kraft was out, which he's unlucky to get dropped today. We put Trippier in. It was good to see Trippier back playing again. And here is the Burnley team as well, who are fighting for survival on the last day of the season, of course. So I'll give you a quick run through the game and try and bring the pictures into play as well. So, after 5 minutes, Joe Linton got injured. So, he someone must have landed on his foot some way because it's a deep laceration, is what it's described as. So, on the ankle. So, he got strapped up there and taken off on a stretcher. So, not nice to see that in the final day of the season, but hopefully be back soon enough. Then next bit of action was Bruno had a shot, was saved by Pope. Then we had this incident where Collins deliberate handball here. What was he thinking? To take it away from Longstaff, and just a complete fuck up on the last day of the season. Well, that's not what you want for Burnley, but we don't mind. Up steps Callum Wilson, bang, back of the net, goal. Bit sloppy in that first half, if you ask me, and not an awful lot really happened after that. Dwight McNeil had a shot over the bar in 38 minutes, 44 minutes, the same thing again, but this time it dubs saved it. ASM had a shot or a pass really to Pope. It was a weak kind of a shot by ASM after a great pass from target. So let's go into the second half. And so second half, way better actually. And we were better on the counter attack. ASM to Miggy to Wilson, and that move broke down. Then Miggy should have passed it to Wilson, never did. If you remember that one, I know you were shouting at that as well, Martin. Then a couple minutes later, the 59th minute, goal. ASM ball to Wilson. And Wilson put him in the back of the net. I don't actually have a picture of that one, I don't think. But Wilson, that's probably from the penalty still. But Wilson scored the second goal. Cornet then as well. Shot was saved. Volley then straight after that in the same kind of movement and goal. So 2-1. And I know in the background that the Leeds match was kicking off, as in like was Leeds went 1 up, I think. Brentford came back 1-1, and then their player got sent off for celebration. Scored,
yeah. They were down to 9 men actually, Brentford, because someone went off injured used all the subs. Time, yeah. And then Canos got a yellow card for equalising, take his shirt off. Then a minute later, just decides someone down.
Really bucking, yeah.
Didn't see any of that. Match of the day for that. But yeah, Burnley definitely upped the tempo. The pressure was on. Newcastle did a bit of shithousery, just kind of slowing down the game, and just throwing away the ball and different things. Just the little things piss Burnley off. Wood came on, of course. ASM came off on the 71st minute. Ball across the box. Not strong enough touch. I've wrote down here for Burnley. But there's one chance as well where I think it was Cork, where he had a shot and it was target off the line. That was on the 80th minute. There was another chance for Newcastle again on the counter. Bruno slipped. It was a 1-2 with kind of Wilson at that stage. 88th minute, Richie come on for Miggy. It's a bit of a scramble in the box at one stage, didn't come across the 92nd minute, and save from Dubs, but it was offside anyway. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Look at Leeds went on to win their game, which meant that Burnley a draw wouldn't have been enough anyway. So, but for our game, full time 2-1, and that meant that we finished 11th in the table. So 11th on 49 points, and we'll revert back around to the table and I'll just give the people the details first. And of course, what that means in terms of prize money, because I know a few people were asking, is it's about 22 million is kind of the figure for coming in 11th. So we'll be talking about more of that on Wednesday night as well with Kieran Maguire and Mitch. But what did you make of the game, lads?
Start with Mart. I'll just agree with him.
It was a scrappy game. You know, we had plenty of ball and plenty of control in it. Cheers to man, fair play to you, buddy. First half was, we definitely had the better of the play. Burnley weren't in it at all. The penalty, absolute penalty. The only question I had around it was how come your man didn't get a yellow? Was it just the penalty was the penalty as such, and Collins didn't get a yellow? Kind of found that a little bit odd that he didn't get kind of booked for giving it. Wilson stepped up, took it. So we were bright enough. I thought first half, I didn't think Bruno, once Joe Linton went off, I didn't think Bruno was in it fully. He gave away a few sloppy balls, a few sloppy passes, which wasn't like him. Took him kind of into the second half for me, anyway. I'm sure others in the chat will tell me otherwise, but he was much better in the second half. Thought Longstaff did well, played some decent ball. Defensively, we were compact. Lascelles, everyone knows, don't have much time from him. Wish you all the best in the future. Jamal, good to see you last game today. And Matt Richard. But he did okay. Look, defensively, they were solid. Dan Burn was as good as always. Dubravka didn't really have anything. Second half, stepped it up. Burnley had a good spell of ball where they got that goal. through Cornet. First time shot, Dub saves it, and Cornet goes straight back out, and Cornet buries it. It was a good finish, not a chance of Dubravka getting a hold of it a second time. Probably defensive wise, I'd say Eddie Howe was probably a little bit pissed. I thought we probably could have done a bit better. But then obviously went up and got we obviously had the second goal, Wilson. So yeah, look, it was one of them games. Burnley were fighting for it. I thought they were niggly. There was some niggly fouls. There was a few kicks and clips, and your man Ashley Barnes, I don't like him at all. He's a twisty fuck. I'm glad he's gone down.
Horny.
Yeah, I'm glad he's gone down. But overall, look, it was just an end of season game. Not really too much in it for us. To finish on 11th from where we were, look, it's an absolutely amazing job by Eddie Howe and his coaching staff, Jason Tindall. You can't knock it. 8 or 9 points, I think, off Man United, and a handful of points off a European place. I mean, it's amazing, really. But yeah, it's again. I'll go back. Bruno took time to get going, but for me, ASM first half was really, really poor, and I thought his attitude when he got taken off was pretty poor. The way he kind of tried to strip the jersey and took his time dribbling off and getting off. Some of the passes, the pass for Wilson for the second goal was a beaut. But he didn't do enough of that for me in the first half. He didn't take on and occupy his defender enough for me. Misplaced passes, poor attitude again at the back end. So I know we keep talking. I think he was probably partly at fault for the goal as well. He nearly got caught out first half again, napping when Dwight McNeil went past him. So I know we'll keep talking about ASM, and it'll be divided bits through other people, and we'll talk about him having another season again next season and a full season with Eddie Howe. But I don't know, man. He doesn't cut it for me still. So I'm not sold on the mercurial Frenchman. But other than that, look, typical end of season game, nothing really to play for us. Went professional job, 2-1 win, 11th spot. We move on. We go again in the summer.
Yeah, just a few points on what you were saying, Martin. Yeah, the first half we did look like we were kind of packed our bags and ready for holiday. It was just so sloppy, but Burnley didn't look up for it either. Like there was very bad first half.
I thought they would have come out all guns blazing. Burnley were a lot better when they put Weghorst on. He caused us problems. He got in around that back four and occupied Dan Burn a bit more, which allowed the likes of Cornet and others to come into it. But I thought they would come out really up for it, and they didn't. And maybe that was why, maybe we were expecting a different game from them coming out first half. I don't know. But we just didn't seem to get hold of the midfield. Once Joe Linton went off, it seemed to me that Longstaff and Bruno were kind of isolated. Bruno, to be fair, was lucky he didn't get booked, because he definitely put a hand in the face of one of their players in the second half, and he had a couple of little niggly tackles. Listen, he's a quality player, but I didn't think he was at his best today. Bit better in the second half, but I thought Burnley they've gone down. You can see why. At home in a relegation battle, needing to win the game to survive. I didn't think they came at it. Second half, they gave it a good go when Weghorst came on, but I don't think there was anything. All right, they scored, but other than that, there was nothing really to trouble us over the 85 minutes. So yeah, it was a bit flat for my liking. Typical end of season does for me.
Yeah. Richie, your thoughts on the game? I know you saw highlights and bits and pieces.
Yeah, I've listened to the interviews as well, and obviously I listened to Eddie Howe, and he said he felt that Newcastle didn't really get going in the first half. He said he felt as though they were affected by the atmosphere a little bit, and they couldn't really get going and stuff like that. Also, Callum Wilson said he thinks one of the reasons why Newcastle didn't get going very well was because, as Martin's already mentioned, Burnley are a very dirty team. And he said that, Burnley play ugly football. And that's basically what you know that when you go there, and the fact that they're on desperation mode and the need to get a positive result and better leads result to stay up. And to be fair, I saw the penalties, and I think what it is, it's just a lack of, from the Burnley point of view, it's just a lack of Premier League experience by a young lad who's in defence. And But to be fair, I just can't understand why anybody would be lifting their hand to the ball. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I know, Martin, you mentioned he didn't get booked for it, but that's probably one of the most deliberate handballs we've seen all season, and I don't understand how Craig Paulson didn't even give that before, obviously having VAR to go through and get.
Yeah,
but
I thought you're absolutely, when like VAR went to it, I thought he'll just blow here. And he didn't. He actually went and looked at the screen. I thought, like, have you ever seen a more deliberate ball, hand to ball than that? When he went and checked. And look, I think the interesting thing, had he not done that, I think Longstaff would have headed it and probably put it back towards halfway line. So from the way he was going, it definitely wasn't going goalwards. That's for sure. Maybe if he'd have knocked it back over, but it was just. I thought the refereeing today was. I thought it was a bit poor as well. I didn't think the officiating helped the game. I thought that was a bit stop-start. And he'd a couple of occasions as well where he got in the way of play and broke up our play and broke up Burnley's play.
Perhaps he was the one that was on the beach, Martin.
Yeah, maybe he was. But and to be fair to Burnley as well, they should have had a couple of fouls that didn't get called as well. Particularly first half, with little feet in and a couple of pulls and trips and stuff. So I think it was kind of 6 of one and half a dozen of another today, but refereeing standard didn't help today either. I thought it was pretty poor again.
Yeah, I think you're right with what you said about Bruno as well, not being you missed having Joe Linton. When I said the one good thing is I don't know if anyone else, obviously Daz mentioned a deep laceration. Eddie Howe did actually say that the laceration was that deep it went down to the bone, so that's why they had to take him off. So obviously. Luckily, it's not like a break or anything like that, and it's just a deep laceration, so it's hopefully not like something. Yeah, it's definitely sort of
sting for a bit.
Just a tad, yeah. But I suppose the main thing is it's not like a break or anything like that, and he's hopefully be back and flying for pre-season starting on that front. But second half, we going off what I've heard again, it was we did well in space and time. Obviously. You've said yourself there, Martin, there's a few times when we've got into good positions and that final decision hasn't been great again. But to be fair, that's not just been this, like today, it's been a lot of this season. I think you look at ASM, it was a good ball for Wilson's for his goal. But obviously, and 2 goals on his first full start after injury is a great return. And I understand his disappointment, like any centre forward, and not getting a hat-trick, especially when there was a couple where the chances were Miggy's
two other good passes today. Richie could have had 4 goals.
Yeah, he did have a little slide dig at Miggy in his little interview after the game, saying if Miggy wasn't shooting from angles and stuff like that. And,
exactly, but there was a few of that. Like Murphy did the same. Murphy got free a couple of times down that right hand side and into the box, and either blasted it or pulled it back behind the player, or not enough to get past the first defender. So again, that look, we've spoken about it loads and loads over the season, and I've kept shouting the same thing, not just at ASM, but at Murphy and Fraser sometimes. You don't always need to beat the defender in the final third. Get a ball in there. Burnley were pushing so far forward, even at the last 15 minutes, Tarkowski was up front near enough. He was playing through midfield. So I don't know why, even when we had Wood there, I would have maybe that last 10, 15 minutes, I would have put Wood a bit more central with Wilson just off him even, and just played a long ball. And you'd have probably caught them out a couple of times. We kept insisting on going down the wings, and they were getting cover there. And then when we were getting past, just the final third choice of the ball was shocking a couple of times today. But
do you remember Wood getting it? Do you remember Wood getting a touch? I don't remember him getting a touch when he came on. I don't recall it. A couple of headers, but nothing. Look, I think he was there really probably just as a more. He spent the last 15 minutes playing midfield, does more than anything else, and he was obviously, when they were having a bit of a spell at the back end, the last 10 minutes, he was working alongside Dan Burn and Lascelles to kind of man mark between Ashley Barnes and Vikos. So look, he came on. He's done a good job. We've spoke about him this season. I've been okay with him. Is he going to be the starting striker next season? Probably not. Will he be moved on? Don't know. But, Look, he did a job when we needed him at that time.
Absolutely.
Season's over, we're safe.
He was the right character and battler to bring in when we weren't in 11th spot. So again, interestingly, the Premier Sports, the guys over here were talking, and they were talking about Eddie Howe, and they were talking about spend, and they were talking about what we're going to do in the summer. And to be fair, the two commentators made a really good point, which was Eddie Howe is okay. He's got the money at his disposal, but the players he bought in were clever. He bought in wisely. He bought in players who wanted to play for the shirt, had grit, determination, and understood what needed to be done at this moment in time for the club. So I thought, they were bang on. Look, Wood probably knows himself he's not going to be a long term.
Hang on, I remember watching Premier Sports, a game of Premier Sports, and this is kind of turned me off them. I think it was like early January, and they were saying that Eddie Howe should be sacked. He was only after arriving in
best thing since
October. Given chance.
Yeah.
They were talking out their arse half the time. Sorry, Richie, go back to you. You anything else you wanted to say about the game?
No, it's actually, I was getting to the point where what Jano's just mentioned as well, which I think is quite a good bit of relevance. I think it's when they got that, they hadn't really been in the game much until obviously they took the ball on the right. Yes, I think it was turned very easy. He's from where he is. We know he can beat his man at ease, but to be fair, he was beat too easy himself for that ball in. And fantastic ball in. And Corney, great save by Dubravkov, the first effort. Mm-hmm. I think someone, I can't remember who it was in the chat early on, had said, I'll see if I can find it actually, but it was about the fact, the reaction to the save off Dubravkov. Obviously, unfortunately, he's pushed it back into the penalty area towards the penalty spot.
No.
But was the fact that Lascelles literally just stood there. Yeah, it's actually Jano again, actually. He says Lascelles turns his back on it, but Dan Burn launches himself towards the ball to block it. He's absolutely right. He just literally stood there. He wasn't committed to the cause, tried to keep the ball out the back of the net himself. And once again, there's the Geordie, and Dan Burn dies for the club. Do you know what I mean? In bleed black and white, and he's put his body on the line. Unfortunately, couldn't keep the ball out and stuff like that. But his first point there regards it. Burnley took it for granted that Brentford would beat Leeds. And to be fair, I think a lot of people thought Brentford would beat Leeds. But I think what's happened was when Leeds took the lead, that seems to be the sort of stage where we were lucky we got the second goal, because that's when Burnley really started putting the pressure on. And when they pulled the goal back, you expected them literally to be throwing the kitchen sink at Newcastle. And do you know what? Other days they could have got an equaliser. Other days they might have wanted to win it. But the resilience of Newcastle's defending, especially the second half of the season under Eddie Howe, as we said, Dan Burns putting your body on the line. You've got Matt Targett dropping back onto the goal line and a head clearance when, sometimes when you're not playing with confidence and stuff like that, the person wouldn't be thinking, where do I need to be to try and keep that ball out? And he could have been marking a man on the edge of the box that wasn't going to really affect play. So the fact that you've got people playing like that, and everyone playing as a team and as one whole unit, and not as individuals, when you tend to feel in the attack, defensively we've been solid, and that's what's got us the win at the end of the day, in my opinion, lads.
Cool. Cheers, Richie. How about Tarkowski watch? What did you make of him today? I know you would have seen him numerous times in the Premier League. I think everyone, Newcastle fans, are kind of keeping an eye on him today as well, when he's being heavily linked to us. To me, he looks solid. Look at he's a good squad player. If you could pick him up on a free, he'd be good. I'd still be going with, unless we sign other players, but the back I'd be going with Char and Byrne. But a good option to have, an option instead of Lascelles, let's say. And what's your thoughts on him today? I
didn't think he was that good, Daz, if I'm honest. Slow to turn. Kind of got caught out a few times. A couple of decent headers. Is he an upgrade on Lascelles? Yeah, probably. Could we get better? Yeah, I think so.
Oh, we could get better.
Look, if you get him on a free as a squad player and he's an upgrade on Lascelles, look, I'll take him. Is he a starter? Probably not. But there you go, Andy. Yeah. Lascelles is not shit. He's just not his level. Did okay today. Hope he moves on. Absolutely, Andy. He will move on because he is shit. But anyway.
He did okay today, Lascelles.
He did okay in the last two games. As I've said, always give him credit. But overall, he's shite. But Tarkowski didn't, probably not his best performance. And talking to Nathan, who was at the game, he said it looked very much like the lap of honor. It was a bye-bye from Tarkowski to the Burnley fans. Look, you take him on a free. You know, I can see Paul Oxley's in the chat there. He's an upgrade on Clark. Yeah, definitely an upgrade on Clark. But look, there's no smoke without fire. It seems that we're interested in him. So look, you take him. Maybe he's just, you know, he can be decent enough on the day, I think. And maybe it's just, maybe he's got the summer and a move on his mind and other things are distracting. So look, an upgrade on what we've got, definitely. But he wasn't, I didn't see anything that would make me think he was any better than Byrne and Shaw for a back position. In our back four.
Oh yeah, no, neither did I. And I wouldn't be paying out money. I wouldn't be paying
take him on a
transfer fee for him. Let's say.
No.
Yeah, I know that. But if he wasn't going on a free, you wouldn't even look at him. But it's just to fill a gap as well. And as a squad player is what I'm thinking. What was I going to say? I was going to say something else, but it's got on my head. Yeah, look at what you make then of the obligatory team photo, the team shot, and Joe Linton on the crutches to see. But nice to round off the season with another one of these. There's been quite a few.
Why is it Miggy looks like E.T. when he wasn't well? I tell you what, for a lad from South America, he's the pastiest fucker you've ever seen in your life, isn't he? Look,
I was going to say that. Well, you wouldn't think he's South American, would you?
He's got abs like a ninja turtle, and he's as pasty as me and you are, Daz. Well, certainly you are, Daz, but
I have to turn my Jason Tyndall orange.
Maybe he needs to give Mickey the bottle. Maybe. Look, it's great. You know, the funny thing is, over the last kind of 48 hours, you've had the Mackems go mental. You know, prior to us about the team photos, and then the first thing they do when they win yesterday is they got a big team photo. So, you know, touche, lads. But yeah, look, that team unity is there. You know, if again you talk about Eddie Howe and what they've done, to you know, you go back to the statistics: 14 games without a win to finish 11th, and for our form to be that of Champions League form in the second half of the season, only bettered by City and Liverpool, is absolutely ridiculous. And it's down to what him and his team have done with the players, and that the players, by the way, have also stepped up to that mark and have taken it on. So listen, full dues to him, his team, and the players that have come on. And so somebody actually said something funny today, which was, you know, ASM, you know, 2 seasons ago looked great in the Steve Bruce team. Maybe he doesn't look as good now on an Eddie Howe team because all the other players around him have come on.
Yeah,
that's a very good point.
Again, I think we're all happy-ish. You're the ish part to give him another shot next season to see what he can do. If it doesn't work out, well, I know Pete is as well. Richie is, I think. Are you? To give him another season?
Well, I've said, you know, I'm like in the middle of both camps because I've been critical on his attitude at times. You know,
his attitude when he got subbed today, Richie. If you watched it and you watch him come off, getting to the bench, his attitude was, in my opinion, awful.
I know where you're coming from, because just little things like when he loses the ball and doesn't get a foul, and then he takes about 30 seconds to get up and he's hitting the floor and whinging on and complaining and stuff like that. He's half-hearted attempt at the press sometimes. You know, you've got, you know, Wood the second half of the season, majority, because obviously he's been the one who's been playing in the middle. And even like Miggy or Fraser, whoever, or even Murphy, who's played on the opposite flank, they've all been pressing high up the pitch. And then what you tend to find is Joe Linton was the one going over to help cover Target at left back for the press on there because it was pretty much non-existent. And I think that's at the side of the game which he can't get away with in an Eddie Howe's team. And it's the fact that, he's also, we've talked numerous times about his final ball as well. The last few games, there's been the odd one where he's been, and I don't know if it's just because of the understanding that perhaps with Callum Wilson that he's back now, and a few people will turn around to, take note of the fact that ASM's form dipped when Wilson was missing as well. So obviously that's something to bear in mind as well. But I think that you've got to look at, the relevant point here, another one by Neil Calvert here. We did squad game ourselves here. He's saying that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 11 players to move on there out of a 25-man squad, and that's not including Hendrick either. So there's 12 men out of that squad. You can't literally give away half your squad, unfortunately. So the reason why I'm saying that ASM he'll only have 12 months to improve on what he's got is because of how much is outgoing. If you look at that, there's realistically you can give a shout to let's have a look. You think we did it before, Murphy at Almiron, one of them will probably stay realistically. And possibly the only other one that may stay is Lewis. If he's got over his injuries, we know he can be a Premier League player. At the end of the day, we've said this numerous times as well. Jurgen Klopp doesn't want to try and buy you if you're not a bad player. If you're not a good player, sorry, should I say. If you're a decent player and Liverpool want you, then there's a reason for it. And I believe Eddie Howe can possibly get something out of Lewis as well. So you look there, 9 players to get rid of there, 10 if you include Hendrick, who hasn't been with the team. And then you've obviously got Matty Longstaff as well. There's a lot of players there. So that's one of the reasons why ASM will at least, he's way above any of them there. Whether we think, he's been delivering or hasn't been playing at the highest standard he can be, he'll get 12 months. And I think he'll have that 12 months to prove that he can play in a team that Eddie Howe wants to play. He can be consistent with his, the right decisions in the final third. And that's, I would say, that's with all the wingers that we've got. But also work hard for the team off the ball, which he hasn't been doing very well this season. So that's the reason why I'm half. Would I be, if Newcastle had a really fantastic offer and sold them, would I be surprised? No, I wouldn't. But at the same time, which I think Pete mentioned and Mike Martin might have done that as well, as who's out of the clubs who are above Newcastle now in the Premier League or even abroad, you don't see any of these teams, they say there's 50 million, there's whatever for ASM at the minute. So there's obviously a reason why they're not doing it. So I think if you put all those decisions together in a thing that's why he's probably got 12 months.
Grand, we'll put it down to Frenchness. And we'll say we'll give him till January, so and see. We'll take an assessment at then. Maybe we try and sell him then. What was I going to say? The other thing, just in a few of the list of names there. Clark has been linked to West Brom and a link up with Bruce. That'll be good luck with that. Yeah, good luck with that. That's right. Right, let's go for a man of the match. For me, it was between two. It was Target and Wilson. I'm going to give it to Wilson. He scored 2 goals. He probably was unlucky not to get it the last day in the other game, the Arsenal game. But yeah, I'm going to give it to him today. But I think Target did really, really well. And again, for me, it cements his name in the squad next season. And I think we should pay, if it's the 15 million, I think we should pay the 15 million to buy him. I know there's other players linked in that position as well, like the guy from Atletico Madrid. But I think we should bring in Target. But for me, man of the match, Wilson.
Matty Target for me. Thought he had a great game. Couple of blocks off the line, defensively strong. Got up and up the field when he needed to. Didn't put a foot wrong for me. I think if we don't sign him and he goes back to Villa, then look, he's been an absolutely outstanding loan signing for us. And I wish him all the best. But I hope we do sign him because I think he'd be a great player and a great addition to the squad. I'd love to keep him. So he gets mine. I think he's been outstanding since he's been with us.
I think, I'll get to Wilson, predominantly because he scored 2 goals and both those, that helped win the game. He's had 160 minutes or something like that since he's come back in. The last 2 games. He could have scored a fantastic goal against Arsenal. He's run the challenge, caused them problems, all that, and didn't get the reward today. He got the reward as well. So just on that, and obviously I didn't get a chance to watch the game, but going off the interviews and stuff that I've heard and what you've said, I'll give it to Wilson.
Okay. Cheers, Richie, as well. So let's go then to the final table as we've put it up already. But just really, I suppose, on the rest of the teams, of course, City were crowned champions. Was back and over in that game. Liverpool, at the time, I thought that they had thrown it away, and then I thought City had thrown it away by being 2-0 down. But in the end, City were crowned champions. What you make of, lads? Do you think that it was City deserved to be champions?
Yeah,
I was actually holding out that I thought Liverpool would snatch it in the last day, but
no, don't like Klopp, twisty bastard. No, glad City won it. Sorry, Liverpool fans, but no, City won it. There's actually a really good video on Twitter of the celebrations in the changing room after the City game, and Pep Guardiola comes running in just his underpants and a pair of socks and does a full body slide on the wet floor straight through the City changing room. So look, yeah, they're enjoying it. Kevin De Bruyne, I think purely for the likes of De Bruyne this season, he's been an outstanding player. So I think, look, when you watch the celebrations and you see, our good friend Dick Masters there to shake hands and wet the baby's head, it just gives you high hopes that, as Stu Penman put on Twitter, hopefully one day when we get our turn and we're being presented by Richard Masters, the players will have their chance to put their fingers up to him. So, yeah. But best team, yeah.
Richie, thoughts on City winning the league?
Well, obviously, I got to watch, Sky Sports News and all the goals going and stuff like that. And it looked. I think the only fun thing about Liverpool was they didn't actually have a lead in the game until City came back and got a lead themselves. So it was a bit of a kick in the teeth to the Reds, really. But you look at you're thinking you can't believe at City the way they've been in the last couple of games where they were losing at West Ham and then they should have won 3-2. Mahrez missed a penalty there as well, and then in this one again to get 3 goals in 5 minutes and completely turn not just the game round, but the actual where the title was going as well. I think for that sort of thing, you've got to give your hats off that any team doesn't stop until the final whistle. And Newcastle have been in that mold this season as well, where we've been going to the final whistle in times this season. And I think Newcastle have scored quite a lot of goals in the last 10-15 minutes this season, which is something that we haven't done before. Probably the most memorable one for all of us all season is going to be Bruno's goal against Leicester City.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably one of the most memorable goals all season. That's my favourite goal of the season, full stop, for Newcastle, that one.
Me too.
Yeah. So, yeah, do you know what I mean? If you've got players on your team, and then even though apparently the atmosphere was crap at the Etihad, but it's like that anyway every week, so that's nothing to be looked at negatively there, because it's always like that. But I think you look at it and you think if you've got a team that can come back, even though haven't got the fans on your side, and still can deliver a title, then it's hands down to the players and the people that carry out. Gundogan came off the bench, and there's a bit talk during the week. Is he going to be let go in the summer? And would Newcastle be interested in someone like him?
I love him.
Yeah,
I don't know why we wouldn't even be in for him.
Yeah,
he's put him in that CDM slot. He'd be fucking class.
He's a quality player, and Pep Guardiola on his interview said he was, when he brought him on and needed to get someone in the game, the reason why Gundogan was because he's the best player in the final third because of his runs. He knows where the ball's going to be, sort of thing. And 2 goals in that, out of those 3 in that 5 minutes, then that's fantastic. Do you know what I mean? And, if you can get over that over the whole season, then it's what they say, you finish where you deserve at the end of the season. And that's why they deserve to win the league. So,
yeah, that's frightening.
And of course,
they're going to add Erling Haaland to that for next season.
Yeah,
it's just a machine. How do you stop them?
Yeah, well, we won't be stopping them. Our mission for next season is as I said, break into the top 8. And
our mission is to just take a point at the Etihad.
Never
mind the way it'd be just nice to get something.
Yeah. Then just to bring it back to ourselves on the table, finishing 11th, as you said it earlier, Martin. From where we were, it's amazing. It's slightly unlucky we didn't make the into the top 10, but it doesn't matter.
Good win for Brighton, to be fair. Yeah, they've had a class season.
They had a dip in form for a while there, which would have seen them up higher, and then losing Dan Byrne and of course Dan Rashford on his way to us. But but they have had a good season. Look they come up at the same time as us, so finishing in around the same. Next season we'll be above all them. I'm actually hoping we'll be above Man United next season. That'll be my goal to finish ahead of Man United. My own personal goal.
European place, top 7, and get just even if it's Conference League or whatever it is, just get a European spot. You wonder where we would have been well up there if we'd had something out anyhow for those first 14 games.
Oh, we'd have
been in a European spot without a doubt.
That's why we can't wait for it to start again. But we have all that the summer and the transfer window to look forward to as well. So, Richie, while you're looking towards questions, I'm just going to give a shout out to the sponsors. Shout out to blackandwhitearmy.com and 1881. And of course, Bronwyn's range of clothing. You've heard us mentioned many times before. Hopefully, we'll get Bronwyn back on again to tell us a bit more about the new range and how it's going for her. And of course, the Loaded Mag hat, which is there, available, and the profits go towards
which is now wrong.
No, we're still called Loaded Mag. We're just called Loaded Mag in UFC.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's just, hey, I have the hat too.
The headline shows still Loaded Mag. So there you go.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
It's just identifies across the board on Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. So we have it all wrapped up. So shout out to Shy Barnes and Simon as well, and the range that Simon has, which I do have to update the pictures and get some of these colorful t-shirts on. So let's shout out to Simon and Pins and Prints.
Sorry, Daz, just a very, very quick one there on Simon. He obviously sent me a really nice t-shirt earlier in the season when he joined up, and I think I've probably worn it once maybe on the show, and my missus robbed it on me, wore it to work, and had a gathering of their leadership team, including some of the guys from the States, and they've asked, can they get a load of them made with the company logo on them? And they want to buy a load of t-shirts off Simon. So I'm just literally waiting on the details. I texted him there Friday night, I think it was, to say I should have some info hopefully this week. So hopefully there's a decent order coming in from the missus' workplace for a load of their mental health t-shirts from Simon's company.
If there's any doubt, and that means the quality of Simon's product, then you know what I mean. If there's a big order like that going to come in from a US national company, then
so they're going to hopefully buy a load of t-shirts and do a whole wellness day around mental health and everything else and give out the t-shirts. So some positive news for one of our sponsors, hopefully coming up.
Well done, Simon.
Excellent. Well done as well. And well done to Martin's wife as well for the promotion. And Pins and Prints and the range that Dean has, and you're better off looking on the webpage for all the details on all the latest, because that's all out of date as well. So we must update those pictures. When I say we, I mean me. What else was I going to say? I'm going to say what's coming up actually next week. Well, first of all, I'm going to say remind people to hit the subscribe button, bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you're watching this back and playback, there's a red button that says subscribe. And also, if there's a button there that says join as well, and that will allow you, there's Simon back, to join, be a member, and again, I have to update that picture. And you'll be put into prize draws, which we must start doing as well. Get them back on again. And so coming up next week, we have on Wednesday. We've only locked in on Wednesday and Thursday yet. We don't know whether we're doing anything else, but on Wednesday we have Kieran Maguire and Neil Mitchell in to talk about a bit of football, a bit of financial fair play, and a bit of the football pyramid. And there's loads of different topics to concern. Newcastle obviously is one, but there'll be a bit of a talk about Chelsea, Everton, and I'm sure numerous other clubs as well. So it's one to keep an eye on.
Burnley's an interesting one now because obviously relegation, a leverage deal by an American consortium with a best parts of a 65 million loan in against it to leverage the club. So how does that work in the championship now if that debt gets recalled? Burnley could do with Sunderland. So big trouble for Burnley ahead, I think. So there should be a good few topics on that one on Wednesday because there's a lot of clubs that could end up being in a bit of trouble going into the next season.
And get your questions in on the night as well for that one for Kieran and Mitch and us, of course. And then as well on Thursday, we're back. We're back with Paul from the Toon Review. So and make sure you give Paul a subscription as well. You know where to find him on YouTube. But he's back on with us again on Loaded Bag NUFC on this Thursday at 8. So we said we'd leave it towards when the season's over. If so, that's when we're taking it. That should be fun. Payback night. I'm coming for you, Paul. That is it on the what's coming. So let's go to the questions.
Well, Banana Man's not really a question as in about any Newcastle topics, but he's just dying to know when the transfer shows are starting tonight, by any chance. But...
No.
I think
we don't have a.
No,
we don't have a date yet, but we say I think Pete was saying June-ish, start of June.
Yeah, we might do one next week, which is the end of May, start of June. So depending on obviously where we stand with anything we get through or anything like that. So
we might look at that Monday show that we were talking about, maybe a half hour pre to the bigger transfer shows that we were talking in our meet about doing possibly a half hour transfer show on a Monday night, maybe. In the build-up,
I know. Banana Man was in the chat for the Sean Casey one, so that will keep you going for a while. There's so much information in that you have to watch it a few times to get to pick up everything. So like that will keep you going for a while. So you have to give us a chance. A chance to settle.
Loaded break.
Richie, anything else?
Michael Brooks wants to know. Obviously, we did squad games, so you can, if you want to go back and find out what everybody else's decision who's not on the panel tonight. Miggy or Murphy, who stays or goes? Paul Oxley on that one. He actually says probably Murphy because he looks championship level to me. But what's your lads' thoughts on that?
Get rid of both.
If it was an option and we bring in better players, I'd get rid of both. But on that squad game night, I said Murphy keep Murphy, get rid of Almiron. But then Almiron went up another level, and even though he's still not good enough for us going forward, he's better than Murphy. But look at he should have passed to Wilson today, and there's another chance as well. He's still going back to his old ways. Apart from the wonder goal and picking it up a bit, he's still should be gone. But if it's just between the two of them, and you have to keep one, get rid of one, I'd get rid of Murphy.
Yep.
No
bother. Right. Then we'll go on to Pete's been on it, and he's got Pete's actually got back home, I presume, and he caught Martin's little speech about ASM, and Pete says, but his attitude was bad when he came off. Would you be happy to come off? Rubbish.
Ooh.
Listen, we know Pete has an ASM love-in, and that's fine and dandy, but I'll call it as I see it. ASM has been poor all season. He's had a few flashes of genius, set up the goal for Wilson, but one good pass in a game of 90 minutes or 60 minutes or whatever, go off with a smile. Nobody wants to come off. Absolutely, 100%. Nobody wants to get taken off. No player wants to get taken off. But go off, tap the hand of the guy coming on, wave at the away fans, do whatever. Don't go off like he did. He went off, he mingled with an opposing player, had a face on him. It's not good enough. So that's my view. Pete has a different view. Everybody agrees and disagrees. ASM, it's a love-hate. It's like a Marmite thing. You either love him or you hate him. Yeah. I don't think he's produced enough for me. That's my opinion.
Not in the second half of the season.
I think the positive thing that you've got to say is, though, he's disappointed to go off. And I think anybody should be like that, not just, there has been times this season when you've seen him go off and he hasn't really been bothered. The fact that he's actually annoyed that he's actually being substituted, I can understand his frustration on that. So I suppose does he care on that front?
The question is, Richie, why is he getting substituted?
No, I agree. I know where you're coming from.
Got substituted because he's shy.
As I said, I'm stuck in the middle of you and Peter here on this one, but obviously I didn't see the game today to comment like in depth. Do you know what I mean? So obviously, I'll leave it to you and Pete during the week to have that debate on Wednesday or Thursday.
Absolutely.
No, and okay. I think we have. Well, I think we're 70% saying of us are saying that we're going to give him another season, see how he gets on. Maybe that season's could short in January if we can need to sell him in January and could sell him for a decent price. But maybe he just needs some kind of a break. But I suppose he had a bit of a break in between the season as well when he was injured. Yeah, let's see what the next season holds for him.
Okay, next one, Neil Calvert's put in the chat. Do you think Leeds staying up will affect our transfers? And I'll link that into another comment that came in from Chris. Maxi in a straight swap for Rafinha. Now, I think that going on the first point there, my personal opinion is I think it will, because obviously there was buyout clauses and 2 people that we were interested in. And I think obviously those buyout clauses don't kick in now. So they're not any pressure to sell. However, would the Leeds accept bids if they came at the right price? Probably. But are we going to be looking to be paying those prices for it on that one? So obviously, I think that will affect the transfer. Look at the Phillips and Rafinha as being the 2 targets we've talked about quite a lot over the last 6 months. And on the second part of it, as I said, they're Maxi in straight up for Rafinha. I probably would have Rafinha over Maxi all day long. I
think I would as well, just based on the last 6 months. But if you get an ASM backfiring again, that's if then that's why I want to give him another little chance at the start of next season.
Exactly, because 3 seasons isn't long enough. But anyway, move on. Next question.
Next question. Okay, Derek Sharp wants to know. The reason I've brought this up because we were linked with him quite heavy in January. We put in bids from last summer as well, and that's Boubacar Kamara going to Villa. Your thoughts on that, lads?
To be fair, and to be fair to Pete as well, we put this now chat earlier on. So he turned us down twice. He's a great player, but look, it's going to Villa. Move on. We'll go with whoever we get. Hopefully, the Phillips thing I think goes away now, as you guys said. The fact that Leeds aren't relegated. I think Rafinha still goes to Barcelona. I still think that'll happen. But yeah, I think look, see what happens with him.
Yeah, it's surprising that he's going to Villa, and it just kind of shows you what Villa mean kind of business as well. Like, okay, we'll be hoping to be ahead of Villa. We should be ahead of Villa next season, but maybe it was all paper talk. Maybe there wasn't as big a link as we thought there was with Kamara. But and look at we're in a different market now as well. We can look anywhere in the world for a player. So. And potentially get them.
I think you'll find we get linked with players, which we always will. But I would think, as Sean said, and as we all chatted on the show the other night, I think you'll see business done early. I think they'll have been working on targets and everything else earlier on. So I think they know who they want to go after. I think that midfield position and other positions will be filled. I think certainly I would expect business to be done early. But as we said, look, the club have always said, as the manager, it could be quite fluid. And if there's a player that comes up and it's the right deal for the club, and that's on the last day of the window, then that deal will happen. So, look, we'll be looking up at players. We won't be looking in the bargain basement. So I, for one, will happily sit and look forward to the summer transfer window and trust in the owners and the manager.
Yep. It's a shame we haven't got Pete on, and it's a shame that Jeff's not in the chat because Chris wants to know about any chance of John Stones to the tune.
Who knows?
Let's have a look. Pete hit back at you, Mart, about ASM. He was subbed because it was tactical. It was obvious. You just got to give over because he just hated him, mate. The brotherly love there, loaded brotherly love there.
I wouldn't say Martin hates him, but I do see where you're coming from, Martin. And in the last while, he hasn't been good enough. Everyone knows that. But I think more of us want to give him another shot.
Well, as I said, it's all about opinion. I have mine. Pete has his.
No bother. Okay, let's have a look. Raging Phoenix, he said he doesn't think we'll get Phillips now because of staying up. Go and get Ward-Prowse. Now, I know I like Ward-Prowse. I know Martin rates Ward-Prowse as well. I think he's a great player. And I don't know if that with Leeds staying up, and obviously Phillips is a Leeds boy, isn't he? So he might want to stay at his hometown club. I know obviously Leeds aren't going to be next level Newcastle like next season and going forward, but there's always that pull of your hometown club, isn't it? That you want to stay, the team you support and stuff like that. So that's always going to be on his
Prowse is your John Joe replacement. Good at free kick, dead ball situation, can take a penalty, can play long ball, short ball. Is he an upgrade? Absolutely. So yeah, for me, it's about that upgrade. Evolution, not revolution.
Yep. Let's have a look. Tony Finley. Lucas Paqueta wasn't playing for Leon. Is he Toon bound? Because I hope so. I don't know. We had this chat in our conversation last night with me and Pete, and we were saying obviously he didn't play last night. He was on the bench, didn't start. So was it the fact that he rested, so didn't Scott were removed, or and also Pete came up with the argument was he on the bench and not starting because he was in trouble for going to Newcastle? We don't know on that one. So
wearing a Newcastle jersey.
Yeah, that could be one of the things. So that they didn't want to, the fans would be annoyed with that sort of thing. So I don't know, we'll see. But obviously, as we know, it's going to be an exciting few months of the transfer window as well. And as a final comment, because I can see we're cut up to the end of the hour, David John Cooks says it's nice to see that Chris's work's been working well because we all look so young. His Avon products are obviously working well.
And David John Cook should talk. Look, I think he changed his picture. It's a different picture, if I'm correct with David. But yeah. All we do need now is to see Chris. I know Chris was on the way days with Pete on Friday night, but hopefully we catch up with them during the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pete's also mentioned in the chat as well, just to obviously reiterate what Martin said about the transfer show starting in June.
Cool. That should be good.
There you go.
Right. So that's it. I think we'll bring the show to a close, lads. Just a reminder again to people that we have changed our name now to Loaded Mag NUFC. So yeah, you'll see that across all our YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. And we're, as I said earlier, we're back on Wednesday with Mitch and Kieran McGuire, and we're back on Thursday with Paul from the Toon Review. That brings season 21-22 to a close. Are you happy with it, lads?
Over the moon.
Second half, yes.
Cool. Right. Let's me find me music. Manager of the season. How? Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Oh.